Hello everyone and welcome back to Weather HQ. Today's video is going to be talking about an upcoming cooldown, potential series of cooldowns, and what looks like to be the summer polar vortex. Now, the reason I think that it could be a summer polar vortex, well, I'll explain in the video. Let's just get to this first graphic. So this is from the Climate Prediction Center, or CPC, part of NOAA National Service. As you can see, in the southeastern United States. I know that's not the focus of this video, but we're going to go over that too. Monsoon's keeping temperatures at bay there, although it's still really hot. But you see the orange here, that's above average here. This corresponds to heat waves going on. We have one northwest that's going to start translating down the plains and into the southeast by later this week. And the area we're focusing on is here in the northeast and the Midwest, in the Mid-Atlantic, below average. The likelihood of below average, the darker the blue, the more likelihood average. You can see there looks like a bullseye around 60, 70, maybe 80, 70, 80% of below chance of below average temperatures. This is 6 to 10 days, so July 31st through August 4th, 2021, which is about the time we're expecting this big major cool down. Now on to the next graphics here. We're going to look at what's called what are observations. These are televisions, which are, man, for lack of a better word, sort of patterns that dictate weather from for a long distance. That's what television far, and its connection from far away. There. Um, so the AAO, or the Antarctic Oscillation, that has nothing to do with us in the atmosphere, because that's Antarctica, which is on the bottom of the world, and no weather in the southern hemisphere affects the weather in the northern hemisphere. So let's take a look at something. The PNA, the Pacific North Atlantic Twist, the Pacific North American pattern. This mostly affects, I'd say, the area just south of Alaska. Now, when the PNA goes positive like this, now you see we're really gonna go. These are almost unprecedented, historically high PNA is, because as you see from April here, we haven't been anywhere close to these values here around 3 and 4 range. That is some time out, but you see a lot of them are saying will increase proportions, but also a lot of them are going to say more of your typical strong PNA around 2 or 3. But when this happens, the jet stream will reach all the way up, and it'll be really warm, usually in Alaska. But what goes up must come down, and that translates to usually translates to the eastern United States being cooler than average, and the western United States hotter, which is kind of like what we're seeing now, but this should be a little bit more extreme. Now the NAO, or North Atlantic Oscillation, when this one is positive, it's typically warmer in the east. When this one goes negative, it is usually cooler in the eastern United States. So you see it's been hovering right around the neutral line, and we're headed back down to a negative, which is going to help in combination with the PNA and also the next oscillation, which we'll get into right now, the Arctic oscillation. Almost couldn't tell the difference between the two. But anyway, there's more spread on this one, but most of them have it going to the negative. When the Arctic oscillation is positive, there's a strong jet stream, and all the cold air is locked up around the Arctic Circle, like Greenland, northern Canada, northern Siberia, etc. When it's negative, that's when we see these big polar plunges into the United States during the winter time. Well, it's summertime, so even if you do get some of that cold air from the south, it's going to moderate. The high angle won't allow that. And the fact that there's virtually no snow cover across much of North America, that's going to also help moderate this by the time it gets to the United States. So no, you're not going to see like 20 to 30s in the summertime. Although with this heat right now, probably we would get that cold. But I think it'll settle for what is expected to come. So yeah, that's the Arctic Oscillation. When that goes to the cold one is south, it doesn't necessarily have to plunge into the United States either. It can plunge into Siberia or Europe because it's all connected. Now the next, this is the current, well, 7 as of 7 a.m. The temperature anomalies. You see well above average temperatures out west, and got patchy spots of below and above average here. Nothing really significant other than the above average out west. Monday, today around 7 a.m. We're gonna put this forward in time, and as you can see, the northeast, by the way, below average here. Um, this is actually Wednesday night. I know it says Thursday, but it's 6 hours um, behind, ahead, whichever one you want to call it. The way this is Wednesday night around 7 p.m. Central Time, by the way. These are on Central Time. And you can see below average temperatures here. These are the daytime highs, and this is about 5 or so degrees below average. And you see over out west, we got 10 to 15 degrees above average. But we're gonna forward in time and see that cold front come through Thursday, and it starts getting a little chilly, especially in the Midwest and the Northeast. And it pushes further south, and now you see it is almost entirely below average across the Northeast and the Eastern Midwest. Blues here, the darker blues are around 5 to 10 degrees below average, and the purple colors at 10 to 15, and then pinks are 15 to 20, and these lighter, almost uglier pinks and orange colors, upwards of 30 degrees below average. But we're not going to see anything close to 30 degrees below average, maybe 20, but not 30. So let me keep looping here, and you see another cold shot comes down from Canada, and you see much of the eastern United States, even places like the northern plains, like North Dakota, Minnesota, South Dakota, and even all the way down to the southeast, getting on this Cuba there. Now, at first glance, you're looking at this like, wow, it's going to be cold like wintertime. Nah, most of these places, their average high are going to be in the 80s or around 80 or 90 degrees. All you need to do is basically subtract about 10 to 20 degrees from that, and that is about the temperatures we're talking about. So your average high is 80, subtract 10 degrees, that's 70s for the high, and then subtract 20, that's about 60 degrees for the high. And some areas have had a little bit more, a little bit less. So, and not everybody's average temperature is exactly 80 degrees. A lot of places in the South actually it's in the 90s, but I digress. Yeah, you see, and it kind of just hangs around for a while too. And you see even another reinforcing shot. Now this is really far out, so that'll probably change, but they just keep coming. And there's another one too, and that's as far as we can go before we start to see things moderate a bit. But the point is, it's about to get a little chilly. Not necessarily all chill. Maybe just typical of late September, early October in most locations. That's what I'm sort of thinking. And I want to zoom out and go to the North American map. I want to look at the height anomalies. And first glance, you're like, okay, orange is warm, blue is cold. Which is true. It's a little bit more complicated than that, but I'll try to keep it as simple as possible. So you see out west all that orange above average temperatures across the board. And then as we put this forward in time, you see sort of the core of the cold will over the northwestern US, south of Canada, and just east of Hudson Bay. That's a really That's the off. This is Friday, July 30th. This is over the Eastern United States. It's responsible for that first cool down. Oh, watch what happens. See, sort of merge with this another vortex, if you will, and an even bigger shock drops down in the United States. This is August 1st, so on Sunday coming up, and you see it's also chillier. And put this forward in time, it doesn't seem like the pattern knows, but it lets up a little bit, and there's another one that tries to, and this one's pretty large, not necessarily anomalous in a sense of it's like well below average, but it covers a large portion of the continent. And we put this forward, and it starts to moderate a little bit around the middle of August, just in time for people to go back to school. But yeah, that's all I want to go for that. Let's go to the temperatures themselves. And I'm gonna zoom in on the United States because from a distance you're just like, a lot going on. So here we are. Here's our daytime highs. Pretty much warm across the entire nation. This is for today. Mm, you see very hot across the southeast and northern plains here, but actually not too bad. Arizona, I would expect them to be even hotter, like in the high hundreds and stuff. Anyway, I digress. Let's put this forward in time. And you start to see these cooler temperatures working their way into the Midwest, especially Michigan, Pennsylvania, and New York State. Well, see 70s for highs and in some of the areas, 50s. In fact, I'm going to zoom in on Northeast real quick. 54 and 53 for the highs up in parts of northern New York State. Put this even forward in time, and we still see 70s here, and then there's that reinforcing shot. Some areas not getting out of the 40s, mostly confined to southern Canada, Ontario, but um, yeah, a lot of areas in the 60s and 50s for highs. But I think these overnight lows are going to be nicely welcome because when you wake up and it's 70 degrees and muggy, it's just miserable. But with these 40s and 50s, you're going to have generally drier air, especially after a front moves through. So yes, these cold mornings would be much appreciated. And this is Monday next week. Widespread 60s for highs. Widespread. Um, and you see it continues, starts to moderate a little bit. We go for in time. The next cold shot moderates. It gets hot out west, a little warm in the east. Yeah. Now it won't be cold as in winter portions like I mentioned earlier in the video. It's going to be a little below average. 60s, 70s, maybe some 50s for highs. I'm sure a lot of you would love that right now because there are there are a lot of suffering in the heat, such as the northern Rockies and also the south and the Midwest. I argue a lot of is getting up into the close to 90, and heat index values getting up to the hundreds, which is oh. I was outside one day this week. It was like 89 degrees, and the heat index was around 96 degrees. It was so humid going from air conditioning inside of store to just miserable, hot, muggy mess. I felt like I was in the South with all that mugginess. But anyway, that's this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you like this content here. I will try to improve my talking and not repeating myself and rambling and stuff and blah blah blah. But yeah, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Leave feedback. I always much appreciated. And I will see you all in the next one. Later.